Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Five. So glad to have you with us today for the start of a new week. For those who saw snow yesterday, hope you're doing okay. We received a light dusting here in Baltimore, which of course means the girls are off school today. So that's how it goes. I'm your host, Michael Ware, President and CEO of the Center for Christianity and Public Life. Today is Monday, February 23rd. Let's begin with a reading from Exodus 3. Now, Moses was keeping the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian, and he led his flock to the west side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. He looked, and behold, the bush was burning, yet it was not consumed. And Moses said, I will turn aside to see this great sight, why the bush is not burned. When the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called to him out of the bush, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. Then he said, Do not come near. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place on which you are standing is holy ground. And he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. Then the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and have heard their cry because of their taskmasters. I know their sufferings, and I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land to a good and broad land, a land flowing with milk and honey. May God bless the reading of his word. Well, friends, let's get into today's news highlights. First, President Donald Trump is deliberating a military attack on Iran. There have been ongoing negotiations over a deal regarding Iran's nuclear program, but there is a American military buildup in the Middle East, which many are speculating is a precursor to an extended military attack on Iran. The president has pushed Iranian officials to agree to a deal that would prevent the regime from developing nuclear weapons, a deal Iranian leaders are unlikely to accept. While the Trump administration has carried out negotiations, the American military has deployed forces to the region in a buildup comparable in size only to the 2003 invasion of Iraq. The Wall Street Journal reported late last week that the United States is, quote, ready to take action against Iran, but President Trump hasn't decided whether to order strikes or, if he does order them, whether the aim would be to halt Iran's already battered nuclear program, wipe out its missile force, or try to topple the regime. Next up, Senate Republicans are reportedly considering an old-school talking filibuster to try to advance their voter ID bill in the chamber after it passed the House. The bill would require voters to display government-issued photo IDs at voting polls and prove their American citizenship as part of voter registration. According to the New York Times, the legislation would also provide the Department of Homeland Security access to voter rolls. States administer elections and issue their own requirements, but Republicans argue a federal law like this would cut down on voter fraud. Democrats worry demanding photo ID at polling places would disenfranchise people who are eligible to vote but don't have those documents. Filibuster would pause other Senate activity and turn the fight into a more high-profile showdown with Democrats ahead of midterm elections. By forcing a talking filibuster, Republicans really have two hopes. One, that Democrats would cave and allow the bill to move forward. Or two, that Democrats would not cave and Republicans could put the focus on an issue where they think they have a political advantage. Finally, for today's highlights, Team USA won its 12th gold medal in the Winter Olympics yesterday on the final day of the Games, with America's hockey team overcoming their northern neighbors, Canada. Team USA finished with 33 medals overall, second only to Norway's 41 medals. Alyssa Liu, an ice skater, earned 2 of America's gold medals, one of them last week in the women's singles category, which was the first such medal for a female American skater since 2006. With that, I'll get into today's main story. I wanted to share with you some details from an interview that Senator Ben Sasse did with the Hoover Institution that was released last week. Senator Sasse, a Republican from Nebraska, and I'll say a personal friend, has been open about his Christian faith. He was during his time in the Senate, and now that he has been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, he's speaking about his faith now as he faces this terminal diagnosis. God is not surprised by the fact that I'm going to die, Sasse said during his conversation with the Hoover Institution. He added that cancer has led him to, quote, pray in a different way because you have to acknowledge your finitude. He regrets spending so much time away from home during his career. I have a lot of regret about that, Sasse said. Solomonic ain't the right word, but on your deathbed, 53-year-old wisdom I have is work-home balance matters a lot. Have a thick community. Be from a place. We bought cemetery plots early in life. I've known for a long time where I was going to be buried, in St. Paul Lutheran Church in Arlington, Nebraska, over the Elkhorn River. Death is terrible, but the cemetery is beautiful. We've known the rootedness of where our family convenes for all the holidays, but we didn't spend enough hours every month doing that, so I have regret about that. Sasse also spoke about the need to bring more normies into America's political life, rather than allow the public sphere to be captured by a hyper-online fragment of the population. Sasse said, quote, politics is really important, but right now we're going through a phase where our politics is so polititainment, where a very small number of people are paying attention, but those people are making it the center of their life. They're overrepresented. We need a lot more normies to come back in and engage in politics a little bit. I'll read some more of what he said. I have the weird claim to fame of being by far the highest vote getter in the history of Nebraska, and also by far the most sanctioned person in the history of Nebraska. 63 times, state parties in Nebraska convened to condemn me for not being aligned with President Trump on issue X or whatever. I have 63 censures. But what's crazy, I don't mean this to be self-serving, this is my point about a bell curve distribution. Most of America is center-right, and they want politics to do a limited number of things, do it well, get its job done, and stop pretending you want to be Hollywood. Washington is Hollywood for ugly people. Shut up, do your service, and get off the stage. Regular folks liked my approach to politics, and so I'm glad for the ways that we went and said normie things. Go to more town halls, but roll your eyes. Don't pretend that politics is the center of the world. The center of the world is where you're raising your kids. It's where you worship. It's where you go to work, next to somebody on the line for decades or on the farm next door. We need to resist the weirdoification of politics, he continued. We'll keep Senator Sasse in our prayers as he goes through cancer treatment. Now let's go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Father, always near us, may your name be treasured and loved. May your rule be completed in us. May your will be done here on earth in just the way it is done in heaven. Give us today the things we need today. Forgive us our sins and impositions on you, as we are forgiving all who in any way offend us. Please don't put us through trials, but deliver us from everything bad, because you are the one in charge and you have all the power, and the glory too is all yours forever, which is just the way we want it. Friends, thank you for joining me today. As always, the Morning Five is brought to you in partnership with the That Sounds Fun Network, supported by the Center for Christianity and Public Life. If If you'd like to learn more about the work at CCPL, you can visit ccpubliclife.org. Hope you have a magnificent Monday.